All right, hello everyone. This is Lee from Project Move, and I'm creating this video just to give you all a quick overview and give a couple quick examples as to how to calculate your calories and macronutrient targets for the upcoming Curb Your Carb Cycling Challenge. Now, real quick, if you haven't signed up for the challenge yet, you can head over to projectmove.com. That's projectmve.com, and you can sign up for our next challenge where we are giving away prizes for our top 3 finishers. Okay, so on to finding your personalized macros and calories for the challenge. If you're a returning member, you might have seen something like this in the past. There's a pretty similar workbook out there, but this one has some additional features which would hopefully make the challenge a little more straightforward, a little more easy to understand. So first, we're going to go to the Facebook group and download a copy of the Macro Finder workbook. So if you go to the the group here, you can find the workbook in the files section right here of the group. There's also a post that I made with a link to the document as well, so should be able to find it pretty easily if you're watching this video shortly after it's been uploaded. So I'm going to hit the download button right here, and that will open it up here. I'm going to click on it. It's going to open. And here we go. This is the workbook. So I'm going to start by saying this is an Excel workbook, so I would absolutely recommend that you do this either on a computer or a tablet. Doing it on your phone, I mean, it's not impossible, but it's definitely more tedious. You need to download the Excel app. It's a very small screen, can be really annoying. I would recommend you using an actual computer or a laptop. Also, some people with a Mac have said that they've had issues opening the workbook since it's Microsoft, but others said that it was fine, so I'm not sure what to believe. I don't have a Mac. But either way, please absolutely feel free to reach out to us on Facebook if you have any problems at all or any issues opening this workbook. So anyway, once you have the workbook downloaded and open up, this is what you will see. And actually, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, make it a little easier to see. Um, and I'm going to say it probably looks like a lot. It seems very confusing. There's a lot of colors. You have no idea what's going on. But don't worry, there's actually only 3 pieces of information that you need to type in for this workbook, and it will give you all the information that you need to know. And those pieces of information are actually these 3 yellow fields right here toward the top. Those are the only 3 pieces of information that you need to do this challenge. So first, what is your goal with the challenge? TDEE, which we'll get to in a minute, and then your current body weight. So for this field up at the top, all you need to do is just click on it here and then hit the arrow for the drop down. So there's only 3 choices that you can use for your goal: lose fat, gain muscle, and maintain weight body recomposition. If you're unsure which goal you should select, please feel free to reach out to us in the Facebook group. But I will say, in my experience, probably a good 90 to 95% of people will choose the lose fat goal. Most people out there probably want to lose fat and gain muscle but when it comes to their main goal, um, fat loss is usually the bigger priority for most people. The gain muscle goal is mostly for people that are naturally very skinny, seem to have difficulty gaining muscle no matter how much time they spend in the gym, or they just can't seem to eat enough of the right foods to actually put on weight, put on muscle. Um, and as for the maintain weight body recomposition goal, I'm going to say right now this is going to apply to very few people. It's mostly for people that are in already very good shape, but maybe just looking to lose a couple of pounds of fat and gain a couple of pounds of muscle, hopefully at the same time. But most people are going to be focusing on just losing fat or just gaining muscle. But if people are looking to do both at the same time, then this option is for them. So for this first example, I guess we're going to go with loose fat. And I'll say right now, you can just ignore this note for now. I'll get back to it in a little bit. Can ignore it for now. TDE, I'll get right back to. But let's say that this first person, let's say that they weigh 155 pounds. If they're trying to lose fat, they currently weigh 155. So right there, you already have 2 pieces of information provided out of the 3. The third piece that you need is your TDEE. So what exactly is TDEE? And this is it stands for total daily energy expenditure, which really is just kind of a fancy way of saying how many calories your body burns on an average day. And I'll say it's impossible to know exactly how many calories you burn, but I will say there are some online calculators that seem pretty accurate, so we're going to use them to figure out how many calories on average you burn. So you can click this link right here, or you can just go to tdeecalculator.net, and it should open right up. Here we go. All right, so we're going to see how many calories a made up person burns on a daily basis. Let's say that this is a woman, put her at 32 years old. Let's say we said that she weighed 155 pounds, we put 155 there, and let's say that she is 5'5". I'm going to skip activity level just for a quick second right now, but body fat percentage, I'm going to say right now, if you don't know your current body fat percentage, that's perfectly fine. Most people probably don't. I will say if you know your current body fat percentage, then your numbers will definitely be more accurate, especially if you have a pretty low body fat percentage, since that means that you will naturally burn more calories because you have more muscle. But let's assume this person doesn't know their body fat percentage, which most people don't, so I'm just going to leave that blank. So on to activity level. And I'm going to say right now, this is the one piece of subjective information that you need to provide, but it's also probably the most important piece of information. And you need to be honest with yourself about it because people consider exercise to be different things. You know, someone that did a casual 20-minute walk around the neighborhood and someone who spent an hour doing some insane high intensity interval training workout, both technically exercise for that day, but obviously those aren't equal in terms of burning calories. If you have a job where you're sitting most of the day and maybe go to the gym once, maybe twice a week, but the rest of your time not really sitting or not really, doing anything but sitting, so physical activity not really doing a heck of a lot, you're probably still at the sedentary activity level. If you're someone that has an office job but maybe gets an amazing workout nearly every day or has a job where you're constantly on your feet walking around and work out, somewhat regularly, 3, 4 times a week, you're probably more at the moderate level. So you have sedentary, light, moderate, heavy athlete. Um, Again, be honest with yourself. If you're someone that is a construction worker or just has another physically very, very physically demanding job and you work out regularly, maybe you're at the heavy exercise level or even possibly even athlete, depending on how hard you work. Um, just be honest with yourself. Like I said, if you chose the lose fat goal in the workbook, it's probably better to underestimate your activity level just so you eat fewer calories rather than potentially overestimating it and possibly even gaining weight or at the very least not losing anything, or at least not as much as you otherwise would. Okay, so back to our sample person. Let's say if they do work out regularly 3 or 4 times a week, they're pretty good workouts, but outside of that, they work from home on a computer, don't do a heck of a lot else in terms of physical activity. We'll put them at the light exercise level for now. Okay, so we have all the information. Once we hit calculate, okay, so this is what we have. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of information on this page. Ignore everything except for this number. Again, there's a ton of information here. Don't just completely ignore everything except for this one right here, your maintenance calories, your calories burned per day. This is your TDEE. So for this person, 1944 calories is the average number of calories that this person burns every single day. It's also the calories that if they were to eat this number of calories every day, they won't gain weight, they won't lose weight, and they would just stay the exact same weight the entire time. So we are going to take that, see if I can get it here. Sorry, my recording's a little off. There we go. Okay, so we're going to take that 1944 and type it into TDEE. So 1944, and when I hit enter, a lot of information is going to pop up, but don't freak out. It will all make sense in a second. So 1944, enter. And here we go. Everything is now populated. This is all the information that you need to know. And it can seem overwhelming at first, especially if it's the first time that you're seeing it. You have calories, fat, protein, carbs, low carb, high carb day. What's all like? What do these colors, these color sections here mean? It's a lot of information. You're probably wondering, do I need to eat exactly this number of calories every single day? What if I don't reach my carbs and fats? What if I go below my protein? What if I can't hit my carb number on high carb days? All of these are good questions, and every single one of these is questions that that people have had before in this challenge, and that's why I created these focus boxes down here. So on your high carb days, on your low carb days, this is what you need to focus on. This is all that matters. So for example, um, this particular person on low carb days, so they just need to make sure that they don't go over their calories and their carb limit. Again, those are limits on low carb days. And they need to at least hit their protein goal. So no more than 1458 calories, no more than 33 grams of carbs, and eat at least 155 grams of protein. When it comes to fat, they don't need to eat 61 grams of fat. They don't need to eat a certain number of grams of fat per day. As long as they stay below their calories and carbs, they can have as much fat as they want or as little fat as they want. The amount of fat provided here is just how many grams of fat this person would need to eat if they were to eat the exact number of carbs and the exact number of protein listed without going over their number of calories. So never feel like you need to eat more fat just because your fat intake might be lower than this number. It's not a big deal. And then on high carb days, you want to also stay below your total calories, and you also want to definitely hit your protein number still. But for carbs, your main goal is to just eat way more carbs than you otherwise would on low carb days. You can definitely eat more than this number, you can eat a little bit less, but just make sure you really go high carb on high carb days. And then down here at the bottom is just the challenge calendar. So um, as of this recording, our next challenge starts on June 14th, 2021, but in future challenges, this date will be updated, so I'll make sure that it's always up to date. And for those of you that chose the lose fat goal, they will have a 3 low carb days followed by 1 high carb day schedule. And those of you that chose muscle gain and body recomposition and maintain weight, they'll have 3 low carb days followed by 2 high carb days. So it does differ for them a little bit. Although I just realized I skipped over this one section here. I said I was going to come back to this note. So this only will apply to people that chose the fat loss goal, and it will only apply to people with a substantial amount of fat to lose. I don't have like an exact amount, like there's no real turning point. But I'll say if you're someone that thinks they have a substantial amount of fat to lose, I can show you how you can kind of determine that. So let's go back to our sample person. Let's say they still want to lose fat. They still have the exact same TDEE, 1944. But let's say that this particular person weighs 200 pounds. So if they type in 200 pounds, what are their numbers going to be? So these are the numbers that they have for this one person that weighs 200 pounds and looking to lose fat. So an easy way to see if these numbers don't make sense, you look at their fat number on high carb days. 8 grams of fat is extremely low. That is definitely not sustainable, and I'm absolutely not gonna, I would never recommend someone get a single digit number of grams of fat in a day. They're also going to be eating quite a bit of protein, and for someone that's brand new to this challenge, 200 grams of protein, if you're a 200-pound woman, might seem like a lot because that is probably a bit too much. So, what to do in that case? So, if you take this person and they're looking to lose a lot of fat, what you want to do is you want to take your long-term body weight goal and you type that in as your body weight. Your TDE will stay the same. Do not change your TDE. But if this 200-pound woman has a long-term goal of 140 pounds, you type in 140 pounds here into their body weight, hit enter, and you see what their numbers are. So these numbers seem a little bit more reasonable. So 140 grams of protein and 35 grams of fat on high carb days. 35 grams of fat is much more reasonable. Again, it's only one every 4 days that you're going to be having this anyway. There's nothing wrong with having more protein. Again, it just might be more difficult for people that aren't used to it, but the fat number definitely makes a lot more sense. In this way, this person, they're not just going to be eating large amounts of chicken breast and protein shakes all in the same day. So it's much more reasonable and much more sustainable, and that's the most important part. So for those of you looking to lose or that chose the lose fat goal, it's about all the general information that you will need. I guess I'll just give some very quick examples for people that want to choose the other goal. So I'm going to clear out this information real quick. And there we go. It's going to try to show both screens at once. So let's use an example. I'm going to go back to the main TDEE calculator. So let's say we have a 25-year-old man, let's say 150 pounds, is 6 feet tall. So again, it's like very, very, very thin. Let's say that they're still sedentary and they also don't know their body fat percentage. So let's see how many calories this person burns. So this person here is also burning right around 2,000 calories. So 2,044 calories for this man, for this 25-year-old gentleman. So this person again is looking to gain muscle. Their TDEE we said was 2,044. 2,044. And their current body weight we said was 150. There we go. Click out, make this a little bigger. So these are the numbers for this 150-pound man looking to gain muscle. So we see here his total calories is larger than his TDE because he's trying to gain weight. So it's 10% higher than what he's expending. So he needs to eat more than he's burning. And on his low and high carb days, you'll see that his goal is to eat right around 2,248 calories. We don't want him to eat fewer calories because his goal is to gain weight, so we want him to eat more. And he still has the same carb limit. He doesn't want to go above his carb limit on low carb days. and he can eat still. He wants to eat as much protein as he can, at least get 150 grams. You can always go higher. There's no downside to eating more protein, almost always. And then on high carb days, again, still wants to eat the same number of calories and still want to eat the same number of protein, still go higher, but just eat far more carbs on those days. And then you see down here how got low carb 3 days, high carb for 2 days, and so on. So again, different schedule for those people. And then finally, just to again round out, I guess all the goals here, I'm going to take another person. So for people who want to do maintain weight, body recomposition, let's go back to the main page. Let's say this person is a 31-year-old man, 175 pounds, let's say 5'10", and let's say this person is moderately active, but burns a lot of calories, and let's say this person knows their body fat percentage and they know that they're 12% body fat. Hey, calculate. So this person burns around 2,912 calories per day. So we're going to type in 2912 into TDEE. So that's how many calories they burn every day, 2912. And we said this person weighed 175 pounds right there. Okay, good. So we said that they want to maintain their weight, which is why their total calories they want to eat is exactly equal to their total daily energy expenditure, exactly the number of calories that they burn. And got their fat, carbs, protein, everything lines up. It's very similar to the muscle gain goal, except they're just not eating as many total calories as a whole. So that is about everything. Again, this video went a little bit longer, but than I expected. But hopefully, this answers all of your questions. If you have any questions at all about anything related to this workbook or making sense of your calories, your macros, or even if you're just looking for some ideas of what to eat on this challenge, definitely check out all the resources that we have on the Project Move Facebook page. Again, head over to projectmove.com. That's projectmve.com to sign up. We would love to have you. And if you have any questions, let us know.